The space station was shaking. Red lights blinked everywhere. Loud alarms screamed in the air. People were running through the metal hallways, pushing and shouting. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Jack Reynolds moved fast, but calm. He was older, now with gray in his hair and small lines on his face. Years ago he was a war medic, a hero, but now he just wanted a quiet life. He was carrying a small bag with food and tools. His ship was waiting in Dock C. He just wanted to leave before the whole station shut down. Then he heard it, a voice, small, scared, and full of tears. "Human, please, my mom won't breathe." Jack stopped. He turned. Through the thick smoke, he saw something. No, someone, falling on the floor. A small alien child was dragging a larger body. The child was thin, with greenish skin, big black eyes, and shaking arms. The one on the floor, a female of the same kind, was not moving. She looked half dead. The boy cried again, "Please, please help! She can't breathe!" Everyone else kept running. No one looked. No one stopped. But Jack did. He dropped his bag. He ran to the child. "What happened?" Jack asked, kneeling down. "Gas," the boy said. "There was bad gas in our room. My mom told me to run, but I pulled her out. She fell. She's not moving." Jack checked the mother's neck. Her skin was too cold. Her chest moved. Barely. The air here was thin. Too much gas in the system. Not enough oxygen. Jack didn't wait. He opened his med pack. He found a small air mask and pushed it over the mother's face. Then he lifted her in his arms. "Come with me," he told the boy. The child ran beside him as Jack turned and went down a side hallway. The normal way to the med bay was too crowded, too slow. He needed another way. He knew the old paths. He had worked on this station years ago during the war. He turned into a dark, narrow tunnel. Old pipes ran along the walls. It smelled like burnt metal. The air was heavy. "Hold this," Jack said. He gave the boy a small light. "Shine it. Ahead." The boy nodded and ran forward, lighting the path. Jack moved fast but carefully. The woman's body was light but fragile. Her chest rose and fell slowly. She needed more air. The mask helped, but not enough. Her lungs were weak. "What's your name?" Jack asked. "Keek," the boy answered. "My name is Keek. My mom's name is Jara. You're doing well, Keek. Stay with me." They reached a locked door. Jack pressed the panel. Nothing happened. Power was low. "Old trick," Jack muttered. He opened a small panel near the door and pulled out 2 wires. He rubbed them together. A small spark. The door hissed open. Inside was an old storage room. But more important, it had a working air vent. Jack placed Jara on the floor near the vent and adjusted the airflow. He added another filter to make it clean. Keek sat beside her, holding her hand. "Will she die?" he asked, voice shaking. "Not today," Jack said. He opened a small injection from his kit and gave it to her arm. "But we need to get her to the med bay soon. This is just a patch." "Why did you help us?" Keek asked. "No one else did." Jack looked at the boy. He saw fear, but also hope. "I couldn't walk away," Jack said. "Not from this." Keek's eyes filled with tears again. But this time they were quiet tears, thankful ones. Suddenly the station shook again. A loud boom came from far away. Jack stood and looked at the ceiling. "That wasn't a gas leak," he said. "That was an explosion." He touched a small comm device in his pocket. "Station control, this is Jack Reynolds. I found a Vereen woman and child gas victim. We're in Sector 7B, old supply room. Request emergency evac now." The comm crackled. A tired voice replied. "Sector 7B is off power grid. Emergency teams are too busy. Evacuate on your own if you can." Jack sighed. "Copy." He looked at Keek. "All right, little guy. We carry her together." Keek stood fast. "I'll help." They made a stretcher from cables and old cloth. Jack placed Jara on it carefully. Then he and Keek pulled it through the hallway. As they moved, the lights above blinked. More smoke filled the station. More explosions. The whole place was falling apart. A small robot rolled toward them. A station security drone. "Human," the robot said. "You are in violation of emergency protocol. Leave the non-registered alien and proceed to safety." Jack frowned. "She's dying. I won't leave her." "You are risking human life," the drone said. "Step away." Jack reached into his pack. He pulled out a small EMP chip and slapped it on the drone's side. The robot sparked and shut down. "I don't follow bad orders," Jack said. They kept moving. Finally, they reached a lower docking level. A medical pod, old, dusty, but working, stood in the corner. Jack cleaned it fast and placed Jara inside. He activated the pod. It hummed. Lights turned green. "She's stable now," Jack said, smiling a little. Keek looked up at him. "You saved her." "I tried," Jack said softly. A team of rescue workers arrived minutes later. They took over the pod, checking Jara's vitals. One of them looked at Jack. "You did all this alone?" he asked. Jack nodded. "You broke rules." Jack shrugged. "I saved a life." The worker looked at Keek, who was now hugging Jack's arm. "Maybe we need more rule breakers like you," he said. The medpod hummed softly. Inside it, Jara, the Vereen mother, was still asleep, her chest rising and falling slowly. Machines checked her breathing, heart, and body fluids. She was stable, but weak. Commander Jack Reynolds sat beside the pod, tired but alert. Keek, the little alien boy, sat close to him, holding his own knees and watching his mother. "Will she wake up soon?" Keek asked in a small voice. Jack looked at the monitor. "Her lungs are healing. It may take a few more hours, but yes, she will wake." Keek gave a quiet nod and didn't speak again. The room around them was quiet now. It used to be a backup medical room in Dock Sector 9. It wasn't clean, it wasn't modern, but it worked. Outside the door, workers ran back and forth, fixing pipes and broken walls. The explosion that hit the station had damaged many systems, not just air. Jack had helped Jara. But the station itself was still falling apart. A woman in a gray uniform walked in. She had short hair and a screen on her arm. "Commander Reynolds?" she asked. Jack stood up. "Yes?" "I'm Lieutenant Morrow, Station Emergency Team. We reviewed your actions. You carried an unconscious alien through unauthorized tunnels. You entered a locked sector. You disabled a security droid." Jack nodded. "Yes. I also saved a life." Morrow looked at the medpod. "We saw the footage. What you did. It was dangerous." "It was right," Jack said firmly. She looked at Keek, then back at Jack. "We're not here to punish heroes. Not today. But you'll need to make a report." "Understood," Jack said. She gave a soft sigh. "Thank you for what you did." Jack sat again. Morrow left. Keek leaned against Jack's arm. "I was scared," he said. "I thought she would die." Jack placed a gentle hand on the boy's shoulder. "You were brave. You didn't run. You saved her too." Keek looked up. "My people believe that if someone saves your life, you owe them more than thanks. You owe them your bond." Jack smiled gently. "I didn't do this for a reward." "I know," Keek said. "That's why it matters." Later that day, Jara woke. Her eyes opened slowly. Her body was stiff. But the first thing she saw was Keek sitting beside her, and Jack watching quietly. "Keek?" she whispered weakly. The boy jumped up. "Mom!" He hugged her gently. She touched his face with her long fingers and smiled. "You're safe?" she asked. "Yes." He nodded. "Jack saved you." Jara turned her eyes to the human. "You stayed?" Jack gave a small nod. "I did what I could." "You risked your life for us," she whispered. "I couldn't walk away." Jara tried to sit up, but Jack stopped her. "Easy. You need rest." "I owe you everything," she said softly. Jack looked away. You don't owe me anything. But Keek said, We do. My mother lives because of you. You didn't run. You helped. You protected her. Jara placed her hand over her heart. In our culture, we call this a life bond. You are now part of our story. Jack felt a lump in his throat. That's very kind. A few days later, the station began to recover. Damaged pipes were fixed, the air was clean again. Lights came back on. Power flowed. But things were still slow. Many workers had left. Others stayed out of fear. Jara and Keek had nowhere to go. Their room was burned. Their tools were broken. They were now just 2 more names on the displaced list. Jack offered to help. You can stay with me in my dock quarters, he said. Jara hesitated. That is too much. No, Jack said. It's not enough. So they moved in. Jack's room was small but safe. 1 bed, a table, a cooking unit. He gave the bed to Jara and Keek and slept in a chair. Keek helped clean. Jara, though weak, helped cook and taught Jack how to make vereen soup. They talked every night. Jack told stories from the human war. Jara shared stories of her planet. Keek asked many questions. He wanted to be like Jack. Brave, strong, kind. One evening, Jara sat beside Jack on the balcony. They looked out at the stars through the glass. You are different from the humans I knew, Jara said. Different good or different bad? Jack asked. Good, she said. Most look at us like we're nothing, but you saw us. You didn't look away. Jack was silent for a moment. Then he said, Long ago, during the war, I treated all kinds of people, human and not. Some of them were like you. They weren't my enemy, they were just people, tired, scared, trying to survive. Jara nodded slowly. You still carry that war in your eyes. Maybe, Jack said. She looked at him. You carry something else now too. Hope. The next day, Jack went to the market with Keek. They picked up some food, tools, and clothes, but when they returned to their quarters, 2 security officers were waiting. Commander Reynolds once said, We need to talk. What's this about? Jack asked. Helping unauthorized aliens without station approval breaks regulation. She almost died, Jack said. There was no time for forms. You also attacked a droid, the officer said. Jack stepped forward, his face hard. I protected a child and his mother. What would you have done? Watch them die? The officer didn't answer. Instead, he handed Jack a notice. There will be a hearing next week. Until then, your actions are under review. They left. Keek looked up at Jack. Are they going to punish you? Jack sighed. I don't know. Jara came to the door. We'll stand with you. No, Jack said. You've been through enough. We won't hide, Jara said. Not from truth. Later that night, Keek couldn't sleep. He sat beside Jack. Do you wish you didn't help us? The boy asked. Jack looked at him. Never. Not even for a second. Keek smiled. Then I want to be like you. Jack looked at the stars again. Then you already are. Days passed slowly on the damaged space station. Repairs were still being made, but the threat of more damage hung in the air like a dark cloud. For Jack Reynolds, Keek, and Jara, life was changing in ways they had never expected. The hearing day had arrived. Jack stood before a panel of stern-faced officers and officials. The room was cold, sterile, and full of people watching. Jack's hands clenched into fists at his sides. The lead officer, a tall woman with sharp eyes, began. Commander Reynolds, you are accused of violating station protocol, entering restricted areas, disabling security droids, and assisting unauthorized aliens. How do you plead? Jack looked straight at the panel. I plead that I saved a life. That life was worth more than any rule. The room fell silent. Jara and Keek sat among a small group of aliens and humans who had come to support him. Keek's small hand was clenched tightly around his mother's. The officer nodded slowly. Explain yourself. Jack took a breath. The station suffered a gas leak and explosion. Jara was unconscious, dying from the gas. I used my knowledge and experience to help her. The normal emergency teams could not reach her. I took a risk, yes, but it was necessary. He paused and looked at Jara. She nodded slightly. Keek, Jack said softly, asked me to help. I could not ignore a child's cry for his mother. The panel whispered among themselves. One officer asked, "Why did you disable the security? Droid?" "That droid ordered me to leave Jara behind. I couldn't do that. I disabled it to protect her and Keek." A murmur spread through the room. Some officers looked annoyed, others thoughtful. After the hearing, Jack walked down the hall with Jara and Keek following quietly. The waiting was hard. Jack did not know if he would be punished or praised. Suddenly, a voice called out behind him. It was Lieutenant Morrow. "Commander," she said, "may I speak with you?" Jack stopped and nodded. They walked into an empty conference room. "I spoke to the others," Morrow began. "Your actions saved a life. That cannot be ignored. But your methods were dangerous." Jack sighed. "I know. Some on the council believe you should be suspended. Others think you should receive a medal. The final decision is not mine." Jack smiled faintly. "Thank you for your honesty." Morrow hesitated. "You know, you don't have to be alone in this. There are people on this station who support you." Jack looked at her. "It means a lot." Meanwhile, Keek was restless. He ran around the quarters asking Jara questions about the hearing. "Mom, will they let Jack stay?" he asked. Jara smiled weakly. "I hope so, Keek. He is part of our family now." Keek stopped and looked serious. "I want to do something for him. Something big." Jara raised her eyebrows. "What do you mean?" "I want to repay his kindness," Keek said. "My people believe in life debts. I want to show Jack how grateful I am." Jara touched his head. "You already do, little one." The next day, Jack returned to his duties on the station. Though his job was less important now, he still helped where he could. One afternoon, Keek followed him into the old workshop. "I want to learn," Keek said, his eyes bright. "Learn what?" Jack asked. "How to fix things. How to help people like you helped my mom." Jack smiled. "Then I will teach you." They worked together, fixing broken tools, cleaning parts, and building small devices. Jack showed Keek how to use the tools carefully. "You have a good hand," Jack said. Keek grinned. "I want to be useful. Like you." Jack laughed. "We all need someone to show us the way." Days passed, and the bond between the three grew stronger. Jack found comfort in their company. Jara, though still weak, gained strength. Keek's laughter filled the quarters with new life. One evening, Jara and Jack sat quietly while Keek played with small machines on the floor. "You remind me of my late husband," Jara said softly. "He was brave like you, kind like you." Jack looked surprised. "I didn't know." "He died in a conflict far from here," she said. "I raised Keek alone. You gave us hope when we thought we had none." Jack felt a warm feeling inside. "Thank you." Suddenly, the station's alarms blared again. A deep voice announced, "Warning, unauthorized ships approaching the station. Prepare for possible attack." Jack stood immediately. "What's happening?" Morrow ran in. "Pirates. They want to take advantage of the station's weak state." Jara stood. "We must protect what we have." Jack nodded. "We will." The station's people scrambled to prepare. Jack helped organize volunteers. He taught them how to defend key areas using old weapons and tools. Keek wanted to help too, but Jack stopped him. "Stay safe. Watch your mom." Keek frowned but agreed. Jara looked at Jack. "You are a warrior still." Jack smiled grimly. "Sometimes a warrior never stops." That night, Jack sat by the window looking out at the stars. He thought about the life debt Keek spoke of, about the family he never expected. Keek came and sat beside him. "I will repay you, Jack." Not because you want it, but because it is right. Jack put an arm around him. And I will always be here for you, little one. Keek smiled, eyes shining bright. Outside, the pirate ships grew closer, but inside a new family stood strong, ready for what was to come. End of Part 3. The station's alarms continued to ring, sending waves of panic through the corridors. Lights flickered as systems strained to stay alive. The pirates were close now, dark ships casting cold shadows against the stars. Inside the cramped quarters, Jack, Jara, and Keek prepared themselves. The little family had grown closer in the past days. They knew the coming fight would test everything they had. Jack checked his old rifle. It was rusty but reliable. He handed a small blaster to Jara. "Hold this," he said. "Keep it close." Jara nodded. She was not a fighter by nature, but her sharp eyes and quick mind made her a good partner in a crisis. Keek sat quietly, clutching a small metal tool Jack had given him. It wasn't a weapon, but something Keek hoped could help. In the control room, the station's leaders gathered. Lieutenant Morrow stood firm. "We have no choice but to defend. The station is weak, but people here are strong." Jack spoke up. "I know the old tunnels and systems. We can use them to move and fight. Hit the pirates where they don't expect." Morrow nodded. "Good. We'll set traps and block main entrances." Jara's voice was steady. "We will protect our home." Outside, the pirate ships grew nearer. Massive and black, they moved silently through space. Their lights were off, but their weapons were ready. Inside one ship, a cold voice spoke. "Prepare to board. Take what you want. No mercy." The station's defenders tightened their grips. Fear was real, but courage was stronger. The first attack came suddenly. Pirates used grappling hooks to latch onto the station's hull. Doors burst open. Smoke filled the air. Jack, Jara, and Keek moved quickly through the hidden tunnels. Jack led the way, his heart steady. Suddenly, a pirate appeared ahead. Jack raised his rifle and fired. The shot hit the pirate's leg. The man fell, screaming. Jara joined in, firing her blaster. Keek watched, wide-eyed but brave. They moved together, using the shadows and old pathways to their advantage. In the chaos, Keek's tool slipped from his hand and fell down a shaft. Keek's eyes filled with tears. "I wanted to help." Jack crouched beside him. "You already helped. Your courage is more important than any tool." Keek wiped his eyes. "I want to do more." Jack smiled. "And you will." The fight continued for hours. Station workers, humans and aliens alike, fought, side by side. Old rivals became friends. New heroes rose. Jack found himself beside Morrow again. "We need to secure the med bay. It's where the injured are." Morrow agreed. "I'll send a team. You help lead." Jack nodded. They reached the med bay just as pirates tried to break in. Jack and Morrow held the door. The pirates hammered and shouted. "Keep the door closed," Jack yelled. Jara appeared with a crate of tools. "Here, use these to block the door." Together they piled heavy equipment, making a barrier. Inside, the injured waited. Jara checked on her own people, calming them. Keek stayed close, holding her hand. Jack looked at the soldiers and medics. "We will get through this." Suddenly the station shook violently. A large explosion rocked the hallway. Dust and debris fell from the ceiling. Jack grabbed Keek and pulled him close. "Stay down." Through the dust, a pirate soldier appeared, firing his weapon. Jack raised his rifle and fired. The pirate fell. Morrow entered behind Jack. "We need to move to the escape pods. The station won't hold much longer." Jack helped the injured stand. "We leave in groups. Stay calm." As they moved, Jack noticed Keek, lagging. The boy looked scared but determined. "Keek, stay close," Jack said. "I want to help." Keek said, "I want to protect Mom." Jack nodded. "You will. You're already a hero." At the escape pods, the line was long. People waited nervously. Some prayed. Others talked quietly. Jara held Keek close. Jack checked the pod systems. Most were damaged. We'll use this one, Jack said, pointing to a working pod. He helped load the injured first. Jara and Keek followed. Inside the pod, the small family sat together. Keek looked at Jack. Will we be safe now? Jack smiled softly. For now, but we will find a new home. Together? Jara nodded. A place where we can heal. The pod, doors sealed. Outside, the station's lights flickered. The pirates had taken control. The pod shot out into space. Stars passed by as they moved away from the station. Jack held Keek's hand. Jara rested her head on his shoulder. This is not the end, Jack said. Keek smiled. It is a new beginning. The small escape pod drifted silently through the vast blackness of space. Inside, Jack, Jara, and Keek sat close together, their faces lit only by the soft glow of the control panels. Outside, stars stretched endlessly, cold and distant. For a long time, none of them spoke. Jack stared out of the small window. He thought about the lost station, the place that had been their home and battleground, the people they left behind, the fight they had survived. Jara rested her head on Keek's shoulder. The boy looked tired but hopeful. Finally, Jack broke the silence. We can't stay here. We need to find a new home. Jara nodded. A safe place, somewhere to heal. Keek looked up at Jack. Will you stay with us? Jack smiled softly. Always. The pod's computer beeped suddenly. Warning, nearby. Planet detected, the soft voice announced. Jack moved to the controls and scanned the data. The planet was small, covered mostly in forests and oceans. No known sentient life had been reported there. It's remote. It might be safe, Jack said. Jara looked hopeful. A place to start again. Keek's eyes shone. A new home. Jack adjusted the pod's course. The engines glowed softly, pushing them toward the planet. As they entered the atmosphere, the pod shook. Fire burned around the edges of the ship, but Jack controlled the descent with skill. They landed near a calm, blue lake surrounded by tall green trees. The pod's doors hissed open. Fresh air filled the cabin. Jara took a deep breath. It smells like home. Keek jumped out first, running toward the lake's edge. Jack smiled as he followed. They spent the next days exploring the new world. The air was fresh and clean. The sky was wide and blue. Birds sang strange songs. Jara found fruits and plants she recognized. Keek discovered small animals that were curious but not dangerous. Jack helped build a shelter from fallen branches and leaves. They made a small fire for warmth. Each night they sat around the fire and shared stories. One evening, Jack showed Keek how to make a simple tool. Tools make work easier, Jack said. Keek listened carefully, learning every step. Jara watched them, her eyes shining with gratitude. You are teaching him well, she said to Jack. Jack smiled. He teaches me too. Days turned into weeks. The small family grew stronger. Jack helped Jara recover her health. Keek learned to fish and build traps. They planted seeds near the shelter, hoping to grow food. Though the planet was quiet, Jack stayed alert. He knew danger could come at any time. One afternoon while exploring, Jack found strange marks on a tree. They are signs, he said. Someone else has been here. Jara looked worried. We are not alone. Keek held Jack's hand tightly. What do we do? Jack thought carefully. We observe, we learn, we prepare. That night, distant lights appeared between the trees. Jack, Jara, and Keek watched quietly. Slowly, small figures emerged. Aliens with shining eyes and gentle faces. They did not carry weapons. They spoke softly in a strange language. Jack stepped forward with open hands. We come in peace. The aliens paused, then smiled. Over the next days, Jack and the new aliens, called the Loran, learned from each other. The Loran had lived on the planet for centuries. They knew how to live with nature, how to heal wounds with herbs, how to listen to the earth. Jara shared stories of the Virine. Jack told of Earth and the stars. Keek made friends quickly, laughing and playing with the young Loran. The Loran invited them to stay. "This is your home now," their leader said. Jack felt a deep joy. After so much loss and danger, they had found peace. Jara smiled. "Our journey was hard, but it brought us here." Keek looked up at Jack. "Thank you for saving us." Jack hugged him tightly. "We saved each other." Life on the New World was not easy, but it was good. They rebuilt their lives with the help of the Loran. They learned new ways and shared old traditions. Jack found new purpose, not as a soldier but as a protector and teacher. Jara found hope in healing and community. Keek grew strong, brave, and kind. One evening under the bright stars, Jack looked at the sky and whispered, "Thank you, universe, for second chances." Beside him, Jara and Keek smiled. They were no longer just survivors. They were family.